That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Eddie.
Welcome, welcome. We are here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. It's cold.
It's snowy.
It's been snowing for
It's
about 36 hours
26.
now. It's
How funny would it be
seriously.
if we got 26 inches in 2026?
I'm more amused by the fact that this is almost 30 years to the day since the last really big blizzard.
The blizzard of
I
96.
mean, we've had some heavy snows since then, but like the blizzard of 96 is at least what my mind always goes to.
I have
Always.
we talked about this. I have vague memories of it, but like
I was reading distinct memories.
I
of
was
it.
reading that there was a big one like every 10 years after that. Like there
Yeah.
was one in 06 and 16 and now 26 and
Wasn't it 16?
I guess I
Maybe.
don't remember.
I
these things.
remember feet of snow being like piled up because I had like eaves. Like I had like little eaves under the bedroom windows in my old place.
Yeah.
And the snow was piled up, like the room was dark.
You know what I remember?
Because the snow was all piled up and stuff.
The rules.
Yeah, I know. I always figure, like I would just keep talking and eventually you would just say it anyway.
Well, I mean, we have to get to them at some point.
We do, and we may as well get to them now. We have 3 rules here in the bubble for the sake of civility. No judgment, nothing personal, and do not be a dick.
Don't do it. You can
Don't
think
be a
about
dick.
it, but don't.
I mean,
do
we
it.
can't police the thoughts, but
Oh, I think we talked about enough police last week. Oh, by the way, speaking of last week and
Yes.
other weeks too, I always catch myself flubbing stuff because we listen to the episode after it airs.
Naturally.
and,
We're
like,
our biggest fans.
There are certain words that I've misused in the past, so I
Yeah.
just want to acknowledge that. Anybody who catches me doing that, it's not on purpose. It's just that this is all off the cuff. There's no script.
Yeah.
There's like we're flying by the seat of our pants.
I went ahead and apologized to you after listening to last week's episode, after editing it, I think even before it went live. And I apologize to you for all of my flubbings of pronunciations. It sounds like I'm having a series of very small strokes.
It does, yeah.
But the fact is that I have menopause brain, and I have caught myself with the fact that I quite literally have mispronounced quite a lot
Here's the
in the
thing
last
about that.
month of my life.
That did not cross my mind at all. And
No?
even if you continue to do it, it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
When you apologize to me about that, I'm just like,
And now
That's-
you'll never stop.
no,
catching them.
that wasn't what I wanted to talk to you about. It was your flubbing of counties, because I'm pretty sure that I thought you meant to say Litchfield when you said Fairfield. And you're like, no, you misheard me because I said both. I just said them really
Yes.
fast.
I said Litchfield and Fairfield counties.
Right.
Maybe you didn't hear me because you were starting to talk over me.
Oh, come on.
Maybe.
You talk over me too
It
sometimes.
happens.
It
This
does.
is our
We're not-
organic conversation. See, we're doing it right now.
Exactly, but we are civil people,
Yeah.
and we get it. No, but what I was getting at with my own flubbing was not mispronunciation of words; it was misuse of words. It was like using the wrong word for that sentence,
Right.
for that meaning. And what better way to introduce our current topic? Context. Context. We're talking about context
I
because
mean,
it matters.
It does matter, and I think that this has been an issue for a number of years now. I mean, I think it's.
Let me get your take on this.
Go ahead.
All right, I want your opinion. I love you.
I'm here.
I do. You're gonna hate me for doing this
Oh no! Why?
because I'm just gonna keep doing this.
No, God! I'm gonna crochet you a tiny pillow for you to pound on.
This house is full of pillows, stuffed animals. Go grab Snorlax or somebody from. Go grab the girl ghost. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh. Anyway,
what I was going to ask your opinion of is, oh God, I'm just constantly
we're
losing my
talking
train of
about
thought.
context.
I know we're
here.
talking about. I'm trying to remember how I wanted to form my question.
You should have done that before we went live, dear.
I had it in my head like a minute and a half ago,
We're
but then
gonna have to start using legal
I
pads.
knew that you were going to get on my case about doing this.
Well, I'm glad that I can at least make you self-conscious about it.
Jeez.
Well, what were you going? What do you want to talk about? Maybe just start rolling it out. And it'll come
so
to you.
in regards to context and,
Yeah.
and us talking about how it matters,
Mhm.
I feel as though.
See, now you're just thinking about it.
I'm trying to remember how I wanted to formulate this question. Like, I feel like in regards to context that jeez.
Oh my God. All right. Why don't I start?
Yeah, you start this one.
Okay. So we were talking
Maybe it'll
about,
help me jump off.
we were talking about, last week's episode and the fact that, more civil unrest is out there because it's
even since that episode.
It's an epidemic these days.
Because,
and the way people
stop talking
the way people are formulating their own opinions about what's going on. But are they? I don't know that they're even formulating their own opinions. I'm just
rumor mill you were talking about.
Yeah, the rumor mill and everything.
Telephone.
The rumor mill churns out and everything like that.
Is this a follow-up to last week? Is that what we're doing?
I think to an extent it is birthed therefrom. It's not really a follow-up or a sequel or anything like that, but we were talking about it because the internet is still talking about it. The internet is still talking about it, and if the internet is talking about it, then we have to talk about it.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, but we're going to. And we see you so more than me, and maybe them out there even more so than you. Not me particularly, because I tend to ignore a lot of shit. The algorithm, I skip past all of that stuff, so the algorithm doesn't even show it to me anymore. But we were talking about sort of, a lack of context with regards to video clips circulating and things like that, and comments being taken out of context and everything,
videos being taken out of context
to suit certain narratives.
Well, that's just it. Historically, whenever some hot button issue comes up, people don't post totality of comments or videos for all to see. They post the blip. They post the moment in question that's going to garner the most outrage, the most attention, the most clickbait.
Exactly.
Whether it's what we talked about last week, whether it's the 2 ICE-related incidents that have happened since last week's episode aired, whether it's Kyle Rittenhouse, whether it's any other such,
That's a deep dive.
I remember that because I remember the trial.
Yeah.
Okay. Or any other such circumstance, like questionable circumstance, where once it breaks the internet, a video goes up. Just a video.
It makes the rounds.
Okay.
It goes all the way around the internet.
And before anything else, before any what's the word I'm looking for? Not preceding. Thank you. Any preceding videos make the rounds. Any post-event videos make the rounds. People have formulated an opinion. People have chosen a side. People have jumped on a bandwagon. People have determined perfect example. When we first found out about what's her name, Renee Good. Okay. All I had seen was the initial video. Okay. The altercation's there. She gets shot. That's all that's out. Okay. That's all anybody's talking about. And I even said to you in that moment, I go, you know what? These guys have taken it a bit too far. Like, this is ridiculous. But in that moment, you know what I didn't consider? I did not consider what led up to that. I did not consider that there may be more footage that precedes that video. What did she do? What did the ICE agents do? What made all these events culminate in this incident? Okay. Same thing with what's going on right now. Same thing with, any other hot button issue in the past where people don't take into account the videos or the comments or the evidence that precedes what everyone's talking about.
Well, that's that game of telephone we were talking about. That, the less context is given, the more you can infer from what you're seeing and from what you're hearing.
That's so irresponsible, though.
It's very irresponsible. It's extremely irresponsible. Very.
I'm glad we agree on that.
Very, very. I didn't mean to do a mid-sentence striptease, by the way. I am having a hot flash, so
that's okay.
Excuse me.
You've also got a wool hat on. You might
No, listen, with all of the snow activities and the walks and the shoveling and stuff, it is impossible to keep myself kempt.
I mean, I decided to, bring this back because I haven't done this in a while.
Well, it's nice that we can see your face. As the one who edits these videos, it is nice to see your face.
It's nice to see your face.
Oh, thanks.
Talking about context.
But talking about context, right? We're talking about the pieces that are missing. Because there are people, there are eyewitness accounts, there are people who have additional footage. It reminds me of the apex of My Cousin Vinny with the photograph that's not cropped.
Me in the shower.
Yeah.
You cracked the case.
It's dog shit. Dog shit. That's what it is. But that's just it, right? Was that the evidence, the photo that was submitted into evidence, I know it's a movie, but the photo that was submitted into evidence of the tire tracks, right, was a shot of the tire tracks. But the photo that she took was from farther away, so you could see more of the tire tracks. And that's what cracked it.
Even if that movie weren't based on a true story, I don't know if it is or it isn't. Somebody had to conceive all of those ideas. Like somebody had to be sitting in a room with a pen and paper and be like, all right, how am I going to write this out?
But that's just it, is that we who get it second, third, fourth, even fifth hand, the story, even when you're getting it from the news, because the news is not necessarily the eyewitness.
Well,
the news.
Let's look at our own personal experiences. Like, all right, so I quit one of my bands around this time last year.
Yeah.
And historically, like when these sorts of things happen, I generally tend to hang on to all texts, all screenshots, and this, that, and the other thing, because I don't want somebody to come out and say, well, he did this or he said that or blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, let's go to the videotape. I have it all right here. Like I save all receipts but then I'm like, and you've, encouraged me to get rid of all this shit because like every time you look at it, it's just going to make you mad.
Yes.
And you're right. And so I've actually gone back and a lot of stuff like that I've hung on to where it's like, okay, well, this person said this and I said that in response and back and forth and all this other stuff. I've just deleted there. Now, mind you, there have been instances where I've regretted doing that because I'm like, I should have hung on to that for just such an occasion.
For a case of libel, I would hope, because anything less is really just pettiness.
You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
That is why I said, you know what? I'm going to make an effort to, alleviate my stresses and remove all that shit. I don't need to look at it anymore. I know the truth.
Yes.
Okay. I know what went down and the manner in which it did. Mm-hmm. So, but again, context matters. Mm-hmm. And just like, and it's funny because context mattering is what actually led to that decision.
Yes.
And what occurred thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
So other parties can say anything that they want, but again, I know what I said. Right. I know my position on things, and I stand by my position on those things.
Because you know the information firsthand.
Exactly.
Anybody else is going to be just a link in that chain where it gets broken down every degree it moves past.
Right.
That wasn't a good sentence, but you know what I mean.
We're also being very vague here, so anybody listening is not really going to understand unless.
But with regards to the bullshit going down in Minneapolis, right? Because that's still what we're talking about.
Well,
even a blizzard that decimated half of the fucking country cannot stop people from talking about this.
You had mentioned when we first started talking about it last week, when I gave the nuts and bolts of all of it, you go, that's a very vague description. And I was intentionally being vague because I knew that we were going to dive into a little bit further and kind of, unpack everything.
What did I say was vague?
So I gave all the bullet points of what transpired.
Okay.
Like I initially did not discuss, intent or this, that, and the other thing. I just said, okay, she was there. They were there. She blocked traffic. They go to detain her. She tries to evade and they shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you responded with, that was kind of a vague way of going. I'm like, well, yeah, that was intentional.
Well, you don't have any of the facts beyond those.
Well, that statement was made based on what we could see clearly in the video.
Correct. Things that you could see clearly in that particular video.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about now. Surely there were people there must have been filming the whole fucking thing.
Right.
Right?
I wasn't making any inferences in my assessment.
Which is responsible. It is responsible. And not necessarily that you would be making inferences, but more so that I think you'd be editorializing a little bit, which is what most people tend to do.
Yeah. Not in that initial.
Right.
Yeah.
And in editorializing a situation like that, you have people who are irresponsible in their inferences.
Yes.
Because they are now postulating these ideas
to other people
who are taking them and then passing those along. And it no longer, once it gets further and further down that chain, it is no longer, you don't realize anymore that what you are repeating is in fact an editorial. You are repeating it as a part of the story now. And it's like, that's where the telephone game breaks up.
Yeah.
And it's, it becomes one of those situations where it's like, well, she was trying to run him over, purple elephant telephone. Like, that's what people hear down the line.
I can't wait till that version comes back tonight. Purple elephant.
Purple elephant bingo.
Oh, see, look, it's changed already. And that's within this room.
But that's just it, is that context does matter, but who does it matter to? Matters to me.
It's going to matter in a court of law.
It should matter in a court of law.
No, that's where it's going to matter. Where it doesn't matter is in the court of public opinion. Where it doesn't matter is social media. Where it doesn't matter is in anywhere outside of an official legal proceeding. Because, again, when these things happen in public and then they're blown up by the media, okay? People can say and comment and have their opinions all they fucking want. But once it gets to an actual judicial proceeding, okay, that's when it gets really serious. That is when, okay, now the outcome, like, you don't get to shout at the top of your lungs, hang him from the highest tree just because that's what the mob is saying. Like, there are consequences to actions.
Yes.
Okay, on both sides. And should any of these things go to trial, it is going to go before a jury, presumably a jury of peers, and be handled in the appropriate manner.
But even so, in a situation like that, if any of this were to go to court, right? If any of
that's
this
what
were
we
to
have
become,
the judicial system for.
That is what we're supposed to have the judicial system for. But if something this publicized goes to court, how many of those peers in that jury box are going to actually be able, quote unquote, to stay
the course?
What's the word? I'm blanking. Impartial. That's it.
Well, that would be weeded out during the jury selection process. Presumably.
Right. See, we are presuming something like that because that is in fact what it's supposed to be. But I find it hard to believe that the court of public opinion is not in fact
influencing
any of that. Because it's like, can you imagine if we had this degree of social media when the OJ trial was going on. Okay? And then that verdict came down.
There'd be a lot more riots.
There would be so many fucking riots. Okay? People would be taking to the fucking streets. It would be insane. People were angry about the verdict. People were happy about the verdict. And those people butted heads for a while. And it was a joke at some point, and everybody was talking about it. And it was a big deal. But it was over. Ta-da!
Well, there are a lot of things that have come and gone in that same manner. I mean, think about it. Are we talking about Luigi Mangione anymore? No. Are we talking about the guy who attempted to assassinate Trump anymore? No. Are we talking about Kyle Rittenhouse anymore? No. Are we talking about any other major, like, exciting news story that was talked about for weeks on end? Somebody that killed someone or attempted to kill someone.
Yeah, we don't talk about George Floyd or anything. We don't talk about the 2020 riots or anything like that.
Are we talking about the three bums that held up a bunch of people at a comic book store in Manhattan at gunpoint for Pokemon cards? No. Probably should be, though.
Well, I mean, you think about that. Think about something like that, okay? That's a headline, okay? Now think about that headline, just sort of you're grazing past it on social media because that's where everybody gets the news now.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a mistake.
Of course it's a mistake.
No, but like, let me stop you for a minute. I remember when everything changed. I remember exactly when all of a sudden I started to see big business use social media as a tool. And I'm like, this is so ridiculous. This is, a forum for, kids, like to just, to be able to chat and share videos and pictures with each other. And now all of a sudden you have serious people. You have businesses and politicians and all sorts of professionals accessing social media for the sake of doing business. And I'm like, this feels weird. This doesn't seem right. Like, you're supposed to use traditional advertising for your products and your services. Like, why are you impeding on the public space now? And it's been that way ever since. And now you can't get away from it.
I don't remember at all what I was going to talk about.
We were talking about having a level of social media back when all these other things happened, and we don't hear people.
We were talking about Pokemon. We were talking about the guys who held up at gunpoint for Pokemon cards.
$100,000.
$100,000 in Pokemon cards. Okay, so here's the thing: is that every time you and I have a conversation about this, you are insistent on the fact that this is currency now. Now, you in the know of those market trends and everything like that, and you know about this niche and everything like that.
Yeah.
Without that context, a headline like that would look like a joke.
Yes.
It would look like a fucking joke to anyone not in the know specifically of this industry. It would look like a goddamn joke to anybody. But the fact of the matter is that, and now what you said that on Pot of Greed, right? They were talking about that this is Logan Paul's fault.
Yes.
Now,
that's pretty irresponsible.
That is irresponsible, but you have to understand that is an opinion.
I'm sure that was in jest, but at the same time, it's just like to air that to your, have 50,000 followers or whatever you have.
But you cannot deny that Logan Paul is a factor with regards to more people being introduced to the value at hand.
I will say that, sure, once Logan Paul got into Pokemon, the however many hundreds of thousands or millions of people that follow him, it's like, okay, well, I follow this person and he likes Pokemon, so now I'm going to like Pokemon because of that.
It happened.
That's always been a thing. People have
happened.
always followed trends because of celebrity, interest. But to, whether you're joking or serious, to even make that association, I mean, that's just stupid. First of all, Pokemon has been on a giant upswing for the last 10 years or so. Okay. And even before he got that $1 billion Pikachu card or whatever, the one that he's wearing around his neck.
I think it's 3 million.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. He's selling it now, apparently, too. Even before that, there was a giant increase in interest and value of all current and, upcoming products.
Yes.
So yeah, some people treat this as, actually a lot of people treat this as currency now.
And all it makes me think of is that episode of The League where Taco was trying to use forever stamps as money. Well, everyone needs stamps. These will never lose. They'll only go up in value.
That's true.
And it's just ridiculous.
But they have always gone up in value.
Yes. So really, should we think about that?
Wait, so does that mean that he was just investing in rolls and rolls of forever stamps at a particular price?
Yes, and then instead of selling them, instead of reselling the stamps, he was using them as if they were money.
Like, you mean he was trying to use them to buy stuff?
Yes.
And how far did that get him?
Not far.
We've gone off topic here.
Yeah, we went off topic. But a comment like that, right? Logan Paul is responsible for this. Imagine taking that comment out of context.
That's like saying that he was the one who hired these guys to go in and rob the joint. And
or that he should be suggested
held accountable.
He should be held. Yes, he should be held accountable for it.
I mean, I don't know the guy. I don't care. I don't care. I care that, you have young kids trying to enjoy a Friday night at their local game store, and then they get held up for their cards at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Like,
what if they have shit cards though?
It doesn't, like, so
I mean,
this all happened within a relatively short amount of time, because we saw that, and then you also told me about the video of those morons smashing the jewelry counter at the Danbury Mall in broad daylight.
In broad daylight.
And then nobody reported on it.
Yeah, that was what drove me wild. I saw two videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay? Two videos. One taken from someone at the pretzel stand.
Yeah. That's the one I saw.
And one taken from inside Hot Topic.
Are we breaking the story now?
Obviously we must be, because
even though it's like 2 weeks too late.
Literally tried to Google news search this thing, and no one reported on it.
You know what? That brings up a very interesting point.
What?
We're talking about context mattering. How about when something happens and then people immediately take to social media and they just put it on blast, okay?
Yeah.
And then people go looking for it, and then they find something that's akin but not the exact same thing, and then they start overloading the internet with that, and then they make that mistake. So in the sense, like, an event will occur.
Yeah.
Somebody will take it out of context in the sense that they'll go searching for it, but then they'll find the wrong thing. They'll find something that looks or sounds like that or whatever, but it's not quite. And then they'll start reposting that, and then that'll get everybody, get their eyes on it.
I know what you're talking about, but do you have an example of that?
Okay, so there've been a million like local shooting incidents over how many years?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I remember when there was the one outside Macy's.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when, there was at least one or two other ones. Okay. But anytime something like that happens, you hear about it, whether it's on Facebook or whether someone tells you, and then you immediately take to Google and all the, the patch websites and the local paper websites. Like, where is this thing? Where is this thing? Where is this thing? And, there's been at least one or two occasions where, I've gone looking for a story like that, found an old enough one that sounds similar to what happened, reposted it, and then somebody be like, check the date. Yeah. That was like 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh shit. And that's another thing. When people go to repost stories or repost comments, they don't always do their due diligence of making sure that it's recent.
Yeah. Yeah. I have tried very adamantly to not share or repost headlines, any kind of headline, because I don't trust any of it anymore. I just don't.
Especially with all the AI.
Yeah,
that's out
I
there now.
do not believe any of it. Like, every time, like, I don't know if you get it. And I don't really go on TikTok anymore. I've tried to start going on it again, but I haven't. But I always get those like those AI posts of like, celebrities who died today. And it's just like, I'm like,
there you go. There's an example.
I'm like, did anyone die today? And I'll like look them up and be like, none of these people are dead.
Or none of these people died today. They died like last year. Or whatever.
So, it's one of those things where it's like, this is off topic.
Let's talk
about. But it makes me really happy to see people finally being angry at AI.
People have been angry at AI for some time.
I know, but now they're like really like we don't want it anymore, and I'm like, yes.
Like, a lot of times when we talk on here, and then you say to me, well, I'll take your word for it because you've been listening to this stuff every day. Like, you and I don't. For those who don't know, we don't listen to a lot of the same things.
Oh God, no.
We listen to very, very different things. And a lot of times when I'm getting current events, it's not really from me listening to podcasts per se, but it's from me like stopping and taking a break at work, and then I just do a quick scroll through Facebook, and then something pops up that catches my eye.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to ask me, like, what do I think is like a textbook case of context matter? Like, my mind immediately will go to like what we're talking about in the beginning, like a shooting happens or something like that. And then everybody either wants to blame the gun, or they want to blame a political party, or they want to blame, whoever had the gun or whatever it was.
Right.
But again,
and they always want it to be a hate crime.
Exactly.
They always want it to be a hate crime.
But nobody of that mind asks, well, what led up to it? what caused this to happen, what put those people in that scenario. And this is something that we were trying to talk about last week. Let's roll it back. Let's go back step by step and get to the root of it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for example, everyone's now talking about this killing in Minneapolis on Saturday. Yes. What's the name of the guy? Alex Peretti. Okay. And now it's a Second Amendment and NRA issue and blah, 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 because he was legally carrying, and this and that and the other thing. What led him to be there? What was he doing there? Everyone's saying now, oh, he was helping a woman up that ICE pushed down. Well, why did ICE push that woman down? What happened in the video preceding the one that we've all seen? Okay.
Yeah.
If they didn't perceive him to be a threat, then why did they have to tackle him? Okay. Why did he have his phone out? Why was he getting in their face? Why were they getting in his face? Okay. And just like every podcast I listen to I'll say the same thing. This all could have been avoided. Okay. But tensions are already high. Mm-hmm. There's already a shitload of media out there. I think the National Guard is out there now, and you've got everybody in the streets filming everything now. Okay. So everything can be taken out of context, because all it takes is for one person to film a blip of an altercation, put it up online and use that 140 character headline you were talking about and say, oh, look what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And all you have to do is remove the audio from it, and you can impose a different audio on top of it to make it seem like it's, to suit the narrative.
We're also living in a time now, and we've talked about this a long time ago, about the whole, post it or it didn't happen, video or pics or it didn't happen. Everybody's got their phones out all the time. Everybody's filming everything now. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the side-by-side comparison photos of people decades past at concerts with no phones, and decades and concerts now where everybody's watching the show through their fucking phone.
Nick,
I know you're going to relate to that.
There was a moment in my life where it was between 2011 and 2014, I would say, where I was aggressively going to shows in New York and Connecticut. And then I started working all of the shows. But I was going, friends would come through from Maine, from Florida, from Baltimore, from wherever and everything. And I'd be like, okay, well, Baltimore. Obviously I have to be there. And I was always taking photos and videos and stuff like that. And I realized somewhere in late 2014, early 2015, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, I will remember being there. I don't have to, and I know what these songs sound like, and I see them all the fucking time. So it's like, do I need to be taking videos? No, of course not. I can just enjoy the show.
You know what I used to do a lot of? Every time I would take a trip or go see a show or do something or whatever, okay, I'd always take a million pictures, come home, plug the phone into the computer, they'd all transfer, okay? And then because I used to do this a lot. I used to go through my computer photo album just to reminisce. I just scroll through, look at oh, I remember that. But every single time as I would go through, I'd delete just a little bit more and a little bit more, because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, as long as I have just one really good shot that captures the memory, I don't need all this extra bullshit filler. Exactly. Like if I get one really, really good landscape, okay, I don't need all the other shots that go along with it. I just need that one because that's the best one, okay? If I have, I'm not a big autograph person. Never have been, never will. I have some autographs, but I don't seek out autographs from people I admire. No. I want a photo. I want one really good photo. I have photos with all my heroes, except Lemmy. I never got to meet Lemmy. But anyway, because I have that photo. What more do I need?
Now we went a little askew here.
We do that.
But we do that. Yeah. Let's
not get discouraged.
I'm not discouraged. I think about how upset I see you get when
people are stupid.
People are being not necessarily stupid as much as irresponsible as much as lazy.
Okay, so between the two incidents, okay, you had...
You mean between week 1 and week 2?
You had Renee Good and you have Alex Peretti. Okay, in between, there was that 5-year-old kid that ICE abducted.
Oh, you told me about that. Yeah.
Right, okay, and that's all you heard. You heard that ICE abducted this kid to lure the dad in because the dad was here illegally, okay? But then they said that the dad abandoned the kid. Okay, that hasn't been disputed. This guy, while evading ICE, abandoned his 5-year-old for fear of getting arrested. Okay, and the mother wouldn't take the kid back because she was afraid of getting arrested. What shitty parents? Okay, but again, nobody wants to put that out there, and nobody's talking about it anymore now that Alex Peretti has happened.
Yeah.
Okay, but why isn't the bigger issue, context mattering? Okay, the fact that this kid, first of all, there's no deportation orders, okay? Nobody reported on the fact that there's no deportation orders for the kid, the father, the mother, nobody, okay? They were just investigating them, okay? And they took possession of the kid because his parents are nowhere to be found.
Which most policing organizations would do the same thing.
Like, they've talked for years about, Trump's administration separating families at the border and blah, 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 blah. But what nobody wants to acknowledge is the fact that what happens in a domestic? What's the first thing the police do?
They take the kids out.
Exactly. You know how I know that? Because I lived through one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first thing they do is remove the kids. Without any context at all. They're just like, this is a domestic, we have to remove the children.
Yeah.
We'll investigate later.
Because that's the responsible thing to do. You make it so that children, that the young eyes don't see what goes on.
It makes me...
They've been traumatized enough.
We were talking about, the things that we were seeing on Facebook, that you were seeing on Facebook, and, the fact that context really doesn't seem to matter. And, it's all, a contest of who can yell louder. Who can...
Well, let's go back a second. It doesn't necessarily matter to certain people.
To certain people, yes. Because it's not a matter of the context. It's a matter of...
the manufactured outrage.
Even if it's not manufactured, it's a matter of the outrage. Because it is a contest to see who can yell louder. And the weird part, which no one is talking about, it seems... is that the only one side is actually yelling, and then they seem to yell louder next time because they didn't get the pushback they wanted. It's like they're trying to create this uproar, and they're getting pissed off that they're not getting the reaction that they want. All they're doing is igniting their own side of this argument.
You know what I think is really funny about all of this? Okay. Republicans are traditionally for smaller government, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Democrats are usually for bigger government, right?
Yes.
Okay. ICE is part of the government.
Yeah.
Why are seemingly a lot of leftists, Democrats, liberals, whatever you want to call them, why are they protesting ICE? Why are they protesting the government?
Because they're not the right kind of government. That's not the government they want.
Oh, so now we're cherry picking.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Of course it is. In the same regard, why are then the conservatives trying to police more? Why are they trying to, institute these policing programs and everything? They're trying to push them more. I mean, this is just it. We're trying the whole idea of smaller government party trying to pass more legislation on stuff, big party, big government party trying to, get rid of organizations.
It feels like there's no more lines.
No, there aren't. It's a matter of my argument against your argument, my opinion against your opinion. It has nothing to do with law. It has nothing to do with the good of the people. It has nothing to do with anything. And again, you have one side of a two-sided argument. One side, they're not getting the pushback to their yelling. They're going, hey, 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 crickets. So they're like, I said, hey, 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 more crickets. So instead, they're getting more people to yell. That's all they're doing. They're just getting more people to yell. Nothing's getting solved. because the argument is not even being addressed. It's retarded. Send me a comment on that one, because I know I'm not supposed to say it, but I did. Good grief.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think it's funny because this all started with, yes, we were discussing the context mattering. When it comes to headlines and things like that, headlines and video clips and stuff on social media.
Can we take a break from this next week?
But the fact of the matter is that a part of this started because I've been watching a lot of Nazis lately.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, why did you title this
Surprise Nazi? Okay, so
Surprise Nazi.
It was very odd, but okay.
Right,
so
give them the context.
Here's the context of that. See, you had to listen this far into the episode to get the story.
I was going to jump off with that, but I
So
forgot.
I put TV on to work too and everything. And usually it's something that I've already seen so that I'm not paying attention to it and I'm focused on my work. Well, I started watching Hunters again on Prime, which I absolutely love. And then I jumped off there and I went back to watching Man in the High Castle. For anyone who is unaware, Hunters is set in the 70s about a group of people hunting Nazis in the U.S. And then The Man in the High Castle is a historical fiction about what life might be like if the Allies did not win World War II and the Nazis took over North America. It was very, yeah.
And
now I have moved on to watching The Boys. I'm stuck on Prime for a while. Not a sponsor. But I've never seen The Boys. I've never read the books or anything, but
you see them outside the Burger King all the time.
But this was a show that when it first came out, I was like, oh, that looks really good. And I never watched it. So now I'm like, I'm going to jump in. Let's take a break from Nazis for a while. For anyone who has ever watched it, okay, I'm into season 2 now. And what happens, spoiler alert, one of the superheroes turns out to be a fucking Nazi. So I came to you and I said, you know how I thought I was taking a break from Nazis? Mm-hmm. Boom! Surprise Nazi! It follows
Half the people that listened to this episode, all they heard was, you're a surprise Nazi.
Listen, the Nazis are the reason why Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a bad movie. No, because there were no Nazis in that movie.
The Nazi, that has nothing to do with the Nazis, as evidenced by the movie. The Russians are why that was a bad movie.
No, the Russians did not make it a bad movie. Listen, it was the lack of Nazis.
No,
it's the same reason. Same thing.
We are civilly disputing.
Was also not a very good movie because there's no Nazis in it.
I'll concur with you on that. But what I'm saying is that traditionally Russians are not good villains. They're just not. They don't measure up to Nazis. They don't.
No, they don't measure up to Nazis.
Because if you look at Indiana Jones 4, Crystal Skull, yes, and you look at Die Hard 5, okay, again Russians, okay. Terrible villains. Russians just don't like.
No, the best.
That's why they're not winning the war.
Because that's just it. Is that when it comes to?
Oh my god!
I'm gonna graze right over it.
It's funny because it's true. It's true.
Listen, the fact of the matter is that the greatest villain anyone can fight, especially in a movie, is in fact the Nazis. That's what makes Indiana Jones one of the greatest action franchises ever made, with the exception of
Crystal Skull.
And
the fifth one.
And the fifth one that we didn't see.
And nobody talked. Well, I saw
And
it.
Temple of Doom is right there hanging out at the bottom. Although they do sing Anything Goes in Chinese. And that's a little interesting.
Wait, they sing Anything Goes in Chinese in what? In The Boys?
No, in Temple of Doom. That's how the movie opens.
Oh, yeah. I have no recollection of Temple of Doom. I know I've seen it. It's not as good as the third one.
It's not as good as the third one. Hell, it's not even as good as the first one. Yeah. But,
I keep forgetting it came second.
Again, Nazis. Yeah.
I'll be rich as Nazis. Simpsons reference for those who don't know. Jeez.
Oh, God. Can you imagine all of the things? Imagine all of the hate mail that you and I would probably accrue if we were taken out of context.
I wanted to ask you, have you been answering our because you always advertise the Gmail account at the end of every episode. Like, I don't have access to that. Like,
we get a lot of spam.
You're maintaining that though.
Yeah, okay. We get a lot of spam, unfortunately. Yeah. But
is it from Nazis?
It could be.
That's
maybe.
Another thing too that really fucking gets me is
the Nazis.
Well, yeah, but there's all these people posting memes of like punch your local Nazi or down with Nazis or this machine kills Nazis or kills fascists or whatever.
It is that like
or people who equate certain like modern things.
Everyone's a Nazi.
Yeah, like if you're this, you're a Nazi. If you're this, you're a fascist. If you're a Trump follower,
this. Mussolini was a fascist too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why are we always equating fascism with Nazis?
Because Mussolini didn't kill 6 million Jews?
He killed a lot of people, though.
I'm sure he did.
Like, he for anyone who is unaware, please feel free to Google. But that's just it, is everyone's like, oh, they're fascists, they're Nazis. It's like, well, maybe someone is a fascist, but they're not necessarily a Nazi.
The funny thing is that I was called a lot of things by somebody I no longer talk to. And this person was adamantly against fascism and Nazism and this, that, and everything. But part of what led up to our separation was his exercise in fascism. Like his textbook exercise in fascism, to which I pointed out, and I couldn't believe I was actually saying this to this person. Mm-hmm. And, he's like, well, you're a fucking asshole and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, I hit the nail on the fucking head.
Well, that the first step towards fascism is in fact broad censorship.
Yeah.
Like that is it. So anyone who is determined to get people to stop saying things, to stop, voicing their opinions, even unpopular opinions, that is in fact censorship.
You mean like how Facebook censored a bunch of Republicans amidst COVID?
Yep. And how all of, cancel culture is if you have any moderate to conservative leaning opinions about anything, you keep those the fuck to yourself. Otherwise, we will cancel you. That is censorship. And that is the first step towards fascism.
Yep. If you can't beat them, silence them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going on right now.
And
now you have people calling for the silencing. And I mean the permanent silencing of certain
that's just
groups.
it. You have too many people now saying, violence is the answer.
No, it's not. It's really not.
And yet that's not going to be silenced.
I've heard a lot of people say over the last couple of years, the thing I consistently hear is it's when we stop talking, that's what leads to violence. Like you said last week, you shouldn't have to be afraid of having an unpopular opinion. Like we should be able to come together and have civil disagreements and bring ideas to the table and all discuss them and everything. Like, I've always been for that. I know plenty of people who've always been for that. I associate with people who've been for that, okay? What I can't understand is the people who would never entertain the melding of ideas.
Well, that's just it.
Or what I can't understand is the people who claim that they do and then act in a different manner.
Mm-hmm.
In who exercise nothing but hypocrisy.
Yep. That's, excuse me.
Like I've always been open to having my mind changed.
Right.
Always been up. Like if you can, provide me with an alternative means of thinking about something or going about, like I've had my mind changed on plenty of things.
The platitudes, I guess, for lack of a better word, the platitudes are that, you learn more from failure than success.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of it. The brain fog is starting to set in. Yeah. But that's just it, is that, you can't create progress without discord. Because if everyone agrees on everything, then where do you go? If there is no conflicting opinion, if there's no adverse opinion to anything, how can you progress? It's like, well, we've reached the top and everyone's happy. It's like, okay, well then I guess everyone dies happy. Like you become stagnant at that point. you have to agree to disagree for the sake of progress.
Like, that's one of the things that I kept saying, like, prior to the election. You know, I was in a pop punk band, you know, for many years, and I had been told that, you know, punk is political. You know, all the time. Punk is political. I'm like, well, punk doesn't have to. Punk rock music does not have to be political.
For as many subgenres of punk rock music as there are, not all of them are political.
Thank you. Okay?
Yeah.
But I kept saying, I'm just like, think about it. Trump gets in, you guys are going to have plenty to write about. Plenty. You know how I know that? Because you wrote jack shit while Biden was in office.
But
you're going to have plenty of things to complain about. You're going to have plenty of fuck yous to throw out.
Can you name 5 songs about politics that they have? That particular band has?
I remember during Trump's first term, we had a song called Pig in a Wig.
That's one.
Yeah.
One. And the rest?
No, the rest were about drinking and shitty women.
Yes!
They were fun.
That's what
exciting.
Yes, that's, you know, quite a lot about what punk rock is.
Quite a lot more relatable too.
Well, yeah. And people like that kind of thing.
I've never been one for the soapbox band.
Like when you want to involve music, like you've got prog punk, you've got anarcho punk. You know, you've got all of this kind of stuff, but you also not all of it is. You've got pop punk, and pop punk is not about politics. That's the poppy part.
You know, I don't think that I've ever written a political song.
No.
I don't think, like, thinking back to all my years just writing, you know, lyrics here and there and this and things I would bring to bands, be like, hey, let's try this. Like, I don't think that I've ever constructed something out of politics. It's always been about either something that's relatable, you know, relationships, life, this, that, the other thing, or just telling a story.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been one, even when it comes to politics I disagree with, you know, like, there's enough of that shit out in the media. Like, I don't want to turn that into an art form.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, too often... Thank you. Well, thank you. Yes.
Keep going.
Good job.
I'm doing it off camera on purpose.
Too often, right? Music, for people who are so invested in music, it is often an escape from what is happening in the world. So why would you want to escape to something that, you know, is so, you know, is so on the same page as that? It's like if you were, so let's say, for example, you were watching the news all day, right? You were watching C-SPAN and MSNBC, and everyone's reporting on this policy and that failure and this shooting and whatever and everything. And then you go home and you decide to watch The West Wing all night. Oh, don't get me wrong. The West Wing is a great show.
Martin Sheen is a hell of an actor.
It's a great show.
Aaron Sorkin knows what he's doing.
But, and here's my big but.
Let's talk about your big but.
If you are just immersing yourself in this narrative
of Josh Malina
of side versus side and conniving and manipulating and this going wrong and this being tragic and everything, it's like, wouldn't you like to sort of take a break, have a Kit Kat and just sit on the couch, right?
I mean, I did bring home donuts.
And just take a fucking break from it for a little while. Like I tried to do. But then, surprise Nazi. I tried.
You know, speaking of which, I saw...
Speaking of surprise Nazis.
I heard a very interesting pop punk song last week that was very catchy and very, very funny. It was called Capitalism Isn't Evil Just Because You Suck at Life.
By who?
I don't even know. It was just a TikTok that came through, and I'm just like, that's catchy. I want to play that now.
That's clever. That's clever.
And it sounded like every fucking, like, any pop punk band you can think of,
Yeah.
every fucking, No Use for a Name or Me First and the Gimme Gimmes esque sounding riff, like just the chorus line was, capitalism isn't evil just because you suck at life.
I think you should do it with the snapping. I think makes it even more catchy.
Like acapella, like rockapella.
It sounds sort of like Philb. Hey, come crawl with me like a turtle out to the bay.
Do 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 do.
Reminds me of a song. This was a good talk.
This was one of those weird ones. We're so brain fogged that we jump around a lot.
But the point is, right, is that context does matter, and it should matter to more people. It should matter if you see something that outrages you, especially on social media, right? Why not read further and dive deeper into it? Because surely there's more that happened. Get the wider angle of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on in the world than just Minnesota.
There is, as a matter of fact, there is. For example, we just got schmacked with a fucking blizzard. And now we are trapped here.
No, we're not trapped.
We're not trapped here, but we can't put our garbage anywhere. Because
send the National Guard.
Send the National Guard, because they need to dig our dumpster out. Like, quite literally, there's too much snow to plow onto the lawns here. There's too much snow that they've run out of places to put it.
Do you think that if your dad still worked for FEMA, we could have an in there and get him to get some people over here to help us out?
I mean, when it melts and we're all flooded, maybe. That's the next step, isn't it? Because after the blizzard comes the flood.
I would just call up your parents and be like, "Hey, Dad, we need some federal emergency management over here." And
could you just airlift in some bread and milk, please?
And while you're in the neighborhood, stop by for dinner. I love when your parents come for dinner.
We'll have to talk about the bread and the milk and the eggs next time.
What's there to talk about? I took a picture. I put it up on my Instagram feed. You know why? Because we just happen to still have a full container of bread, milk, and eggs from the last shopping trip before all this pandemonium set in.
And that's what it is, pandemonium.
That's what we were originally going to talk about.
That was what we were going to talk about. Yes, we're the weirdos and their weird storm preparedness. Like it's fucking doomsday.
Like, I remember back to being a kid during blackouts and thinking, okay, the power's out for a little while. Big fucking deal.
I remember the deal was that in the event of a storm, go to the basement with the radio and a flashlight. Ta-da!
I remember blackouts were our excuse to set up tents in the living room.
Yeah, right?
Like, you put up a stick, you put the blanket over it, you get the flashlight, and you read ghost stories.
Yeah.
Like,
and now what?
They sit under the covers with their iPads.
They just hope to death that their tablet doesn't run out of battery.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You know what was really weird? The last time we had a blackout, maybe it wasn't the last time, but the time before, I remember you were still at work, and water was pouring in through the bathroom wall. Not the
I remember you told me about that.
Not the seam between where the window frame meets the wall. It was coming through the solid wall.
That's weird.
It was really weird.
We did have that one blackout where we were down here. And we had a blackout for a few hours. Yeah. I think we went to bed without power. That's all right. We make do. Well, anyway, this was a good talk. It went off the rails a little there at the end, but here we are.
We'll be back on track next week. Back on topic.
And thank you for tuning in. Again, be sure to check out our social media, DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's. Email us at DTAndy and JJ Star at gmail.com. Questions, comments, concerns for our well-being, conversation starters, and enders.
What's Love Hard going to be up to?
Love Hard is going to be at the Villain Arts Maine Tattoo Festival in Portland, Maine, Thompson's Point, on February 27th, 28th, and March 1st. Come one, come all. Bring your friends and your money.
Hooray, hooray for Chef Boyardee.
Buy my shit.
Buy my book.
You have something going on.
Buy my book.
You have something going on.
Tax Collectors and Harlots, February 22nd, Sunday at Sugar Hollow Tap Room in Danbury, Connecticut. We will be there at 5. We'll be playing at 5 p.m. Nerve Endings goes on before us. You should come see them. Along with the assumed Trust Fund Rejects are headlining. Old friends of ours. Come one, come all.
Come one, come all.
That was totally out of order, but you know what? It's fine.
And I have been told today that the dudes from Coat of Arms Tattoo are going to be attending the New England Tattoo Expo at Mohegan Sun Casino. Yes. It's in April. I want to say 17th.
Are we doing that one?
No, we're not.
No.
And the reason for that, people have asked why I don't do these more often, is because when I do one and I sell stuff, I then have to make more stuff.
Well, yeah, that's usually how it works.
Yeah. So the whole idea of like, oh yeah, I have 2 weeks to make more. It's like, that doesn't work.
We did that once. That was my first tattoo convention ever, working that one with you.
Yes.
And that was a lot of fun. And that's where I got this hat.
And we may do it again, but this year we've got our sights set on, a couple of shows. We're doing Portland. In August, we're going to be doing Nashville, and more details about that to come. And then, of course, we'll be doing Blood and Ink again in the fall. It's going to be a big year. Big year.
That's going to be weird.
For me. That's what the cookie told me it was going to be. It said it was going to be a big...
The cookie told me so.
Big abundance year for me.
Big red.
Yes, big red. And
standing by.
And it's going to be good. And tell all your friends to download Podbean. We keep getting off topic. But yes, Podbean.
No, this is important.
Like, follow, subscribe, tell all your friends. This helps us make money.
Have you listened to the Podbean ads during our episode?
Yeah.
Did you know that Podbean has like a whole AI branch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me. Every time I look at our analytics, I get bombarded with, have you clicked on AI yet?
I was listening to the ads this afternoon, and I'm just like, our whole thing is AI? Like, are we AI? Is this even real?
They've made updates to their program. That's why they're advertising it, because they want more people to be
make
a part
podcasts
of it.
and join up.
Yep.
But do we get referrals? Like if we refer friends to make a podcast, like do we get like commissions?
I believe so. Yeah.
For real, dude. I'm gonna make all my friends make podcasts now.
Yeah. Do it. Anyone who needs a podcast referral, please see me. I think that's it. You can find all of our episodes streaming at ttppodcast.com and all of our videos at dtandyandjjstar.com.
Just make sure you wash your mug at the coffee counter, because germs. Cats. I think that's a full lid.
I think that is a full lid. Yes, from the three of us here at That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
And we'll talk to you later.